meaning whenever I'm going to bring them in, when I'm going to go on your show, I'm going to bring an audience. Then I did a quick bio. You guys noticed that. So I tried to say, why me? 3-time TEDx speaker. That's why I can teach it. Believe this or not, I know people in my network that try to teach people how to land a TEDx that have never done a TEDx. For me, I struggle with that, seeing people do that. But that's for another day, because that's one of my rants. But the other thing is the dip. So some of you noticed I did the dip. So whenever I said, and you'll see this later, we're going to do the dip later, but when I said it wasn't always this way, that was the start of the dip. So again, we'll explore that later. Part of the dip also was whenever I said, I barely graduated high school and stuff like that. Again, we'll go into that later. I also tried to put some humor in, get some laughs. I don't know if you noticed, but the other piece I did was proof. I want to prove to the podcasters that when I go on the show, I really can teach what I said. So if you noticed, I said one of the audience members, we literally just helped them land their TEDx, and then I told the stats of how many people helped land their TEDx over time. And then
from chapter 13.
I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, so you'll notice that I also included stats. And then basically, I wrapped up with the pitch. So there was, the hook for me was how many people here in the audience would like to land a TEDx. That was to pull the attention of those podcasters in. So that was my pitch there. And like I said, I ended up getting, I think, let's say if we say 6 out of 10, or 6 out of 8, I mean, what is that, like 85, 90%? So it was a successful pitch by that percentage, let's say. But then also there were people in the audience that were podcasters, and there were also some of the icons that they only put certain ones on stage at a time. And so after that, I got more interviews from those other people. And that was the result of a pitch. So hopefully, those 2 examples, the one I told you about that I did at the National Publicity Summit, the one I just showed you, hopefully they give you an approach for your pitch. So the big things I want you to make sure you try to include is a hook. You don't have to worry about the dip and all this stuff. It will help. It's great to have in there, but we can cover that later. So what I'd like to see you have is a hook for sure. I would like to see you prove that you're going to bring them an audience, because if it's a podcast or a media, they do care about you bringing them an audience. So by the way, one thing I could have said at that, but I only had a limited amount of time, is I could have said, I also have an email list of 30,000 people. And I'm going to send my interview on your show 2 times to my list, because that's going to show them I'm going to help them get extra listeners. By the way, one other thing I did that I just glossed over is I also said I'm a fellow podcaster. Did you guys notice that? That was also intentional, because people are worried when you bring them on the show, are you going to poop the pants or whatever word you want to put on that, poop the pod, whatever. They're worried you're not going to do a great job. So I want to show them I understand what's important to an audience, because I also host the show. That was also intentional. So again, back to the original point, hook. I want you to explain who you are, but not as long as you think. Don't get into a pitch where it's like 15 minutes about your backstory and then 1 minute about what you can do for their show. I'm going to tell you right now, most podcasters care more that you can share a message with their audience quickly than they do this is hard for some people to hear, but the trials you went through. I know we all think it's like they want to know I went through this, this, and this. They do want to know it, but I'm here to tell you, for podcasters especially, they want to know first and foremost, what's the value you're going to deliver to their audience. So focus more on that. What's the takeaways going to be? What are they going to, so in other words, they're going to know how to land a branded talk so they get paid more, so they get their message out to more people, they impact more lives, and then also have a hook. And then I might say, and I have the ability to do this because I've been on many shows. I also host a show myself, and I'm a multiple time TEDx speaker, so I practice what I preach. And then at the same time, I also am planning to share your show with X amount of people, because then you're saying I'm going to try to do, I guess I'm more focusing on the podcast right now, but you get the message. But then if you want to get on regular media, it's going to be, here's my hook. Again, like I want to show you how vitamin P can help our current mental health crisis. And then you want to back up what the audience is going to take away. They care about talking points, basically the media. What are the 3 things the audience is going to take away? The proof that you are the right person, and then how you're going to share it with your audience. So, and yes, Shannon, clear intention for what you want the outcome to be. So is that helpful on the pitch side for you guys to go into a room and do some sample pitching? Laura took the notes. Laura, was it helpful? Do you think we covered? Is there anything you think I'm missing? You've been here for 3 or 4 times. Is there anything on the pitch side you think we should add into that? Because I didn't plan this. You can tell I'm going in real time.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is making sure that you speak to what their audience needs and wants. If that's not there, it's all going to fall apart no matter what else you have.
100%. And that goes to the point of when you get good at pitching, we talk about our Meet the Meeting Planner, and you're in, and for anybody who's in the bureau and hasn't went to that yet, you got to come to our next one. It's early December, date's coming soon. But when you pitch the meeting planners, the first time around, we said, if you have a core message, it might be good for 40%. Don't change your pitch for the other bunch. But when you get good at pitching, eventually you'll be able to say, even though I speak in your head, even though I speak on this, that company, I could actually talk about how I could change that up a bit for them. Meaning each new meeting planner, you can actually change that direction. Or like you said, Laura, if you're going to two different podcasters, you can adjust to each podcaster. But I believe first and foremost, focus on your one niche or your one niche, because get good at that and then worry about being able to expand beyond that. You guys know who Seth Godin is. Seth Godin's the Purple Cow guy, marketing guy. And when you hire Seth, he's going to talk about passive marketing. So if he pitches you, it's going to be passive marketing. He's not going to pitch you on HR issues. And so again, get good at your solo pitch first, and then eventually, to Laura's point, you can customize it to each separate person. How do we know the audience of each podcast? Laura said the key thing, research. We can talk more about that after the break, Steve, but yes, research is the quick answer of how you know more about the podcast. Listen to some episodes. So